Hi guys, and welcome back to a new episode with Tanoka 1. This week we are going over 12-9, First Blood, which is actually the 250th episode of Supernatural into season 12. So yay for that. We got a lot of questions this week, and is everybody glad to be back from hiatus? Because on the one hand, yes, I'm so glad Supernatural's back on TV, but on the other hand, it's just like, oh god, I just got so much more busy. It was nice to have like just a couple extra hours every week of just, I could do all the other stuff that has to get done without having to try and juggle everything I needed to get done every day. I stay very busy, guys. Like, it's not funny. It's also not always fun. Real life is hard. So we're gonna get right into that. There were 34 questions for this week. I'm not gonna be able to answer all of them. But we will get as many possible as we possibly can. XS Bettina said, "Oh my god, this was an amazing episode. Spoilers just in case. I love how much Cass cares for Sam and Dean. Also Mary now. I like Protective Mary is back. Also the Winchesters being badass. I love it. And Crowley is the only one who can give the Winchesters a compliment and an insult at the same time. This episode seemed grounded in realism and the characters felt like the characters. I don't know if your ask for your video started, I don't know if your ask for your video started yet, but I was too excited, so sorry if I'm early. You're fine. It starts as soon as the episode airs, you can start sending me asking for the next video. It's fine. And I take them for around there about 24 hours after the episode airs, because I will do it like it comes on Thursday evening, Friday evening after I get home off work is when I'm going to do the video. So yeah, it was good. It was nice to see the boys, back to not fighting monsters, but actually having to worry about law enforcement again. That was nice, and I've kind of, like I said, I've talked about this a lot on my blog, how much I sort of miss a lot of the elements of the early seasons, of things that just aren't addressed anymore, like the constant threats of the law enforcement and the FBI. So yeah, that was the thing. Gabba Valdman said, "So did the episode live up to your expectations? Because I freaking loved it." Parts of it did, parts of it didn't. I think a lot of my issues with the episodes this season is actually just a pacing issue, which is not anything to do with writing. It's to do with editing. It's just like, it's almost like every episode could have been shaved off, or every scene in every episode could have been shaved off and shorter just a little bit, because without it, it seems to be lacking a lot of tension. And that's kind of an issue that I'm having with it. And like I said, it's not anything to do with the storytelling. It's not anything to do with the writing. It's almost like an editing problem. XS Bettina came back and said, "I know the writers killed Billy off to highlight Cass cares for the Winchesters, and I think killing her will lead to something big. Maybe she might not even be dead, like Rowena. I know writers killed everyone except J2 and now M2. It does make sense she died, but it would still be nice to have a recurring character that's a minority. Sadly, some fans do send hate to many of the women, but Billy was a perfect person to be a dynamic character. Not Lucifer, who in my mind, it's too late to be forgiven." Yeah, they're way past redeeming the Lucifer story arc that they have just completely screwed up. Billy, on the other hand, one, she was the only person of color on the show. So that should have been a huge, massive red flag for them. One, we cannot kill off this character. Though it was rumored at one point that Death is supposed to come back, so this may somehow prompt Death coming back, I don't know, from beyond the grave, because of the fact that you reneged on an agreement. I don't know. There was a lot of things about Billy's death that bugged me, for the fact that, like, in early seasons, there was Alistair, when he trapped Tessa and that other Reaper as part of a spell to break one of the seals. He had to go to all these lengths to do it. Had to write this special Reaper's trap and all this other kind of stuff, and originally Reapers couldn't be seen unless you were basically dying, or they willed themselves to be seen because they were your Reaper, like with Tessa. And they couldn't just be killed by like an angel blade. Alistair had to have a special scythe in order to kill them. So there's a whole lot of their own history, again, that they've just either forgotten or disregarded because it makes it easier for them to completely disregard it. And that Reapers now can possess humans, so they can be visible at all times, and apparently can be killed just by an angel blade. That, to me, it was unnecessary. They unnecessarily simplified it to a very great extent. Also, as far as with Billy dying, I was actually kind of going, oh, good, this is how they're gonna like tie up the Mary storyline and get rid of her, since like literally nobody's really liked her. And but also tie up her thing of I'm unhappy, I don't belong here, I want to go home, but without killing her in a way that, basically to make the boys feel guilty about Mom died for us, and add to that man pain, about her just being honest with them. I want to go home, I don't belong here, I love you both, but you are strangers to me, and I miss, this is not the way it's supposed to be done. I want to go home. I'm out of place, I'm out of time, everybody I know and love is gone, everybody I ever knew is gone. I'm not supposed to be here. I get that you want me here, but I'm not meant to be here. Let us correct it in a way that, one, keeps you alive. To me, that would have made sense. And so that's why I was like, oh, good, they're going to do that. And then Cass killed Billy, and I'm like, dang it! Because that means he opened a can of worms. It's probably going to come back to bite them all in the butt later. And I'm just like, no, do not hurt Team Free Will. Let Mary go back on to heaven, whatever, I don't care. But do not hurt Team Free Will. Seriously, guys, this means entirely too much to me. This Ginger Likes Coffee said, who do you think would have given themselves up if Mary or Cass hadn't been there? Sam and Dean never did talk about that, so up until the point of meeting Billy, they hadn't agreed on who was going to go. I definitely think Dean agreed to this and started this all in motion to begin with the full intent of giving himself up. I do not in any way think solitary could have been worse than 40 years in hell. That is the dumbest thing I've ever heard out of Dean Winchester's mouth. I think he literally, his whole training and the way he was raised came into mind the more he sat there. And he got less concerned for himself, and the fact that the longer I'm sitting here, the longer I'm letting my brother, live his life in solitary and eventually die in solitary, and he deserves so much better than this, so I'm going to make the deal to get us both out of here, and then I'll go with Billy so that Sam can have a life. I fully believe that's what Dean was thinking. Because if you'll notice, like, as soon as they put him in the cell, he got the screw out, so he sat on the screw for 6 months. And so I seriously, that is absolutely what I believe. I don't think in which case, in the back seat when he's looking guilty he looks guilty from the moment they get out. Like, he knows what's coming, but he's not saying it. So I think even Sam didn't know. And that from the very beginning, from the first moment, that was Dean's plan, was to go with Billy. And one never expected Mary to be there to offer it. Nobu Akama said, so that was an episode. I mean, it wasn't too bad as it wasn't as bad as the mid-season finale. Thank Chuck. But wow, why they can't keep consistency with their own continuity, I will never know. Seriously, if thousands of people who have jobs and schools and lives outside of Supernatural can keep up with the continuity easily, why is it so hard for the people whose job it is to keep up with it? They should have let Mary die, and at least Cass didn't try to sacrifice himself at the end of the episode, though. Yeah, no, Cass is in a very, very volatile state, and I think emotionally the narrative is getting to a turning point where, with him and with both Cass and Dean, I think, mostly. Mary as well, but I think mostly it's focusing on Dean and Castiel, and sort of where they are emotionally. That Dean basically kind of seems to be giving up. That he's just, it's like he's tired and he's worn down and he's like, I can't anymore. Castiel is very much in a very similar place and he's made it abundantly clear this episode, losing you would kill me. I can't survive that. I can't go through this. I can't do this on my own. I need you. that basically losing him would be the push too far for him, and it would destroy him, and he can't take it. So I think narratively they're building up to a basically sort of a breaking point for them where something's got to give and something's got to change. I don't think Sam is anywhere near there at that point. I don't. I don't think he really is having any issues as far as, you know, their lives and stuff right now. And then I don't think Mary's gonna eventually come to a turning point, but I don't think she's there yet. And I thought they were gonna maybe start. I thought they were gonna do it this episode, but they didn't. The episode was not great. For a 250th episode, I was expecting better, and more. But you know, whatever. But it was a really good episode. I think I did like the fact that they revealed, I think, the fact that Dean and Cass sort of how they are and where their mentality is, and that the fact that they're both reaching a breaking point rapidly. They are like accelerating towards that breaking point. That Dean is basically willing to give up, and Cass is clinging on with, you know, tooth and nail to the one thing that's keeping him from being destroyed, which is the Winchesters. And since they go so much in tandem, I think they're probably going to, you know, reach a breaking point at the same point, because Dean's going to be willing to give up, and Cass is like, no, that's the one thing you can't do because, you know, I need you. Triscar368 said, oh Lord, that episode gave me too many Cass feels, and Dean feels, and Sam feels. The door slamming. I just can't make up my mind if that flinch is because of PTSD, or if there's history with people slamming doors on Sam. This is twice now this season. But Cass is just so close to breaking, and he still sees himself as less than important than Mary. Someone please tell my poor angel he is not worthless. Also, Billy is not dead. I refuse to accept it. She's on a beach somewhere. Right? I would literally love for, like, Billy just to be on a beach. Like, yes. This is the thing that needs to happen. Miss Lisa Perry, please be on a beach somewhere. It's like, just, yes. Like, with really hot men and women all around you, bringing you drinks and fanning you and offering to rub, like, oil into your skin. These are things that need to happen because you deserve them. Sam has a very interesting reaction when it comes to basically loud noises anyways. And sort of, like, final noises. He ends up being, you'll notice a lot he jumps. Like he knew it was coming, but it still, it jars him anyways. And I don't know if it goes back to, you know, the cage and... Sorry. I don't know if it goes back to the cage and Lucifer, or if, you know, what exactly all it entails, but... Sam tends to be very, almost jumpy when it comes to loud noises. Anonymous said, Cass probably can't protect himself. Cass probably can't project himself into dreams since he lost his wings, at least not that far away. See, but there's absolutely nothing to say he can't. As far as what we've been able to tell, angels losing their wings just means they can't teleport anymore. They have all their other abilities. That is the only ability they seem to have lost, which is why they had to basically create an alternate door into heaven so that they can walk back and forth. But that's it. You know, there's nothing to keep him from projecting, you know, himself into people's dreams other than the fact that the writers forgot about it. So there's literally no reason that he shouldn't have been projecting himself into, you know, Dean and Sam's dreams every night, basically, you know, talking to them. How are you doing? This is what we're doing, you know. And Dean and Sam, for a distraction, happily throwing themselves into basically helping, you know, Cass with his case, and basically role-playing how to talk to people and get questions and answers, and basically like, dude, we suck. We're so sorry. We did not ever encourage you as a trainer, as a hunter. And then we never actually trained you. That, you know, we basically always just sort of put you down when you would try it, but never actually offered to teach you how to do it correctly. I think on one hand they'd probably do that because of the fact that it is upsetting to them, the fact that Cass even needs to be a hunter, or would need to be a hunter because he has nowhere else to go. So I think that's sort of them sticking their head in the sand as over the fact that the situation is not actually as bad as it is. No, 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 no. Everything's fine. It's all gonna be fine. Cash doesn't need to be a hunter because he's an angel. Everything's fine. You know, that sort of deal. Anonymous said, okay, but is there a canon that explicitly says an Angel Blade can't kill a Reaper? Alistair used something else in season 4, true, but maybe that scythe was more convenient for him to get at the time. Also, it seems less like lesser Reapers like Tessa couldn't become corporeal, but Death could, and Billy has before too. Her death doesn't seem like a plot hole to me. Some assumptions have to be made, but there's nothing explicitly in canon that makes it impossible, as far as I can remember. It's not that it states it's impossible, it's the fact that the way it was built up suggests that they did it the complicated way because there was no easier way. That they had no easy way to do it, so they had to do it the complicated way. You know, which is why people are sort of annoyed with, you know, Reapers being killed by Angel Blades. And, you know, we're not even going to get into April because that was in season 9 and fans are still disgusted and pissed off over April. Anonymous said, I missed your reaction discussion videos so much. I'm glad to see you back again. Thanks! I appreciate it. They're so much fun to do. Okay, so I really disliked the last episode, Lotus, so at least this episode was better than that one for me. It wasn't bad. I'm just pissed that they killed off the only recurring woman of color, most recurring black woman at that, for what again? It made the most sense for it to be Mary that left, but no. I know they're just setting the stage for the next season, but still. Episode was cool until that. Left me kind of bitter. I think it left a lot of us really bitter, because now there are no people of color in the show. It's all white people. All white people. Seemingly all white straight people. Because, yeah, that's what the world even remotely fucking looks like. So unrealistic. And I don't see how the people who make the show don't look at it and go, this doesn't look right. Why does it look weird? This doesn't look like reality at all. What's missing? Oh yeah, the majority of the population. Representatives. You know, I mean, granted, we know that Crowley is basically pansexual, but he prefers men, which they have not seemed to remember at all recently. Castiel, we already know, is actually indifferent to sexual orientation and probably gender identity, because he's an angel. You know, but as far as the actual human characters, it's all a bunch of white straight people, supposedly. Unless they want to finally bring Dean out of the closet, which would be super, super important. You know, super important. God, that'd be so big. That'd be such a big deal. But, you know, and then hopefully, again, we don't have another episode where we have a bunch of white straight men supposedly sitting around the table deciding the fate of the world. Like we have quite a few times in recent seasons. It gets on my nerves. Yeah, Lotus was a terrible damn episode. Buck Lemming needs to be fired. They're terrible writers. Every episode they're pretty much right is awful. Like, I cannot even, like, you could literally probably hire just about anybody from fandom, you know, to guest write an episode, and it would be better, even if they have no actual, like, screenwriting skills, and they just have, like, you know, novel and fic writing abilities. They've never actually written, like, a, you know, screenplay type style or anything like that. It'd still be better. Seriously. I mean, you know, we're good at what we do, and we do it for love. These people are paid. You know, that's really, there's a problem there. Okay, Anonymous said, we had a special guest pup in this week's reaction video. So cute. Which puppy was in the video? Oh, yeah, Stitch and Roxanne both showed up. Roxanne got a fur cut recently, so she probably looked different. Her hair's a lot shorter than what it was. I just wanted to say that the British Men of Letters are bad news. So, sure, they've got amazing resources and seem like they could be the best if they were to team up with the Winchesters, but I don't know. They seem just like more trouble than they're worth. I don't trust them, especially Mick. If only because he seems too eager to be friendly, and he's probably just not. Ketch, though. Ugh, I have a bad feeling about both of them. Thoughts? I actually don't think Mick is a bad guy. I think Mick is just probably doing his job like his father before him did. I get the feeling the British Men of Letters it works that way too. So his position, that's probably what he grew up doing. That's probably what he grew up his father doing. So to him, it's perfectly normal and acceptable, and that's just the way things are done. Because we've already seen how just very they are as far as how American hunters deal with things. They're just like, no, no, no. Part because they don't know any other way. 2, they've never seen it done any other way. 3, they do have a point. Their system in a lot of ways is very useful and could be if properly utilized, could be amazing. Mr. Ketch is scary. And pompous, and I don't like him. His actor, though, I do love to watch because he fangirls just outrageously over Cass and Misha on Twitter. It's hysterical. They both do. It's hilarious. And they're like, I had a line, but I got distracted by his blue eyes. I had a line. I'm not even sure what it was. Sorry. I got distracted. His eyes are really blue. And then, of course, they got on the whole, it's Cass with 1 S, not 2, bandwagon. And they're just like, what is this, infernal abomination spelling his name with 2 S's? And then there was some discourse with fans, and they're just like, whoa, okay, sorry, we still agree with what we said, but, end of the day, we all love Supernatural, right? And I'm just like, guys, fandom, shut up. Just, seriously, just be nice. Say nothing. If you cannot be nice, shut up. So I don't think Mitch is a bad guy, and I would actually like to see him basically turn coat and start working together with the Winchesters, and basically everything he knows and all the resources he has, turn in and help the Winchesters create a new hunter network, based out of the Men of Letters bunker. Which also I still think needs to be turned into a school. And basically train up the new generation of hunters right there at the home base, and then they all network and stuff from there, which case gives Team Free Will a reason to step back and into basically like a supporting role rather than the frontliners. And, and in the show with them basically working and training and helping other people, and not even like, young hunters, like young adults or whatever, like teenagers, training them and giving them both, one, a normal school education and socialization with other people, while also teaching them, the basics of hunting and how to be better hunters, and basically going on field trip. That's like a milk run hunt to train them and stuff, and then teach them, okay, this is what you did wrong. They go on these easy hunts with, way too many people because of the fact that, like, just in case. But it's also mostly for them to teach. And I think that could be really, really, really cool. And a really good way to end the series is basically them sort of handing off the keys to the next generation. So I think that would be cool. Anonymous said, oh my God, Castiel, what have you done to my favorite son? I'm very upset about Billy because, enemy or not, she was just so badass and cool while also being good representation for diverse characters and women on SPN in general, because are there even any women on the show at all besides Mary and Rowena now? No. I guess I shouldn't have gotten my hopes up. Anyways, if something terrible happens to Cass because of this, I'm going to lose my shit. Dude, the Winchesters damn sure better start treating him better too. Like I said earlier, I think they're reaching sort of a breaking point. And this whole horribly handled as far as their emotional well-being is the whole reason I'm writing the one with the fanfic competition. Where characters are literally going out of their way to be better friends and to learn how to be better friends to each other, even though it's awkward and they don't know how. And they're just like, I'm really bad at this, but I'm trying really hard. Even if it just means, I'm sitting next to you because I know you're having a bad day and I know something is wrong, but I'm not going to make you talk about it because I know you don't want to talk about it. But, I'm not going to make you sit here alone either. So, if you change your mind, I'm sitting right next to you. And then, Dean very awkwardly and stumbling, trying to basically be not only, emotionally open, but emotionally vulnerable because of, Charlie sort of ribbing him one and elbowing him enough in the ribs about the fact that it would not kill you, Winchester. She sort of got her point through to him about the fact that, not everything can be solved with like a bullet or a right hook. And he's just like, my life would be easier. So he's basically trying with, Castiel, the same thing. She was just like, if you're worried about me, maybe try this, or, any number one of these things, and so, BRB. And we're back. Sorry about that. Alright, so I don't remember where we were, so I'm going to cut to the next question. And like I said, not all of these are going to be able to be answered, unfortunately, so I'm going to do as many as I can. And then I can't speak today. I can't speak the past couple of days. I've had a migraine, and it has just made me create word salad all over the place. So, yeah. And I generally don't realize I've made word salad until, like, afterwards. Sometimes I do. Anonymous said, I was totally Crowley this whole episode. They'll be fine. True that. Anonymous said, Mary is interested in working with the British Men of Letters now? Bad idea. See, this is why she should have just gone with Billy back to her heaven. She's going to put them all in danger. I don't trust the British Men of Letters at all. They're ruthless and cold. Completely heartless, it seems. They don't only kill supernatural creatures anymore, but humans too, which is definitely going to be a problem. How will the Winchesters even realistically survive them as enemies? They know too much to be stopped by them, it seems. We will see. Yeah, the British Men of Letters are a problem. But I actually think Mitch might, like I said, turncoat. And if they can basically end up getting some allies within the British Men of Letters to turn on them and realize, okay, we're way, way off base. We're monsters. Then they might actually be able to do something about the British Men of Letters. And that, I think, would be interesting. And then turn around and basically rebuild the Men of Letters in a new fashion. Taking both the old and the new, mixing it together, and doing away with the parts that are wrong. That is how I would do it, at least. Anonymous said, do you think the British Men of Letters will be part of next season too, or do you think they'll try to wrap up the storyline in this season? I'm fascinated by all the knowledge they have and wouldn't mind seeing them carried over to the next season. Also, do you think we'll be seeing Tony again? What happened to her? I don't know. She's probably being punished British Men of Letters style, which is vicious, cruel, and uncalled for. And totally, not, what does it say? The punishment must fit the crime. They probably take that to an extreme. They probably think they're doing it justly, like torturing her how she tortured Sam, but okay, she only tortured Sam for like 2 days maybe, and she's been tortured for like weeks. And they're like, no, it's just. No, it's not. Let me explain you a thing. And there's too long of a history of women just getting tortured for the sake of, I don't know, fetishizing it somehow on Supernatural, because that's what they do. That, I would not at all be surprised if they find her and have to rescue her, and Sam has to carry her out in his, very large muscular arms, and she has to play the damsel in distress and just, excuse me while I vomit. Anonymous said, this episode was just, ugh. I hope they realize that they need to do more research from their older seasons so more plot holes don't appear. But yeah, it wasn't Lotus level of bad, just uninteresting. Let's hope the Nephilim plot is better. I really, really just want them to adopt Lucifer's baby and raise it like a normal baby. Because, one, Dean has wanted to do that several times throughout the history of the show. And two, they can't, there's no way they can kill an innocent baby on the show and frame it in any way to make it okay. There's literally no way they can do that. You know? Because we already had one Antichrist on the show, which is the child of a demon and a human, and is the result of a rape. Like a violent rape. On the show. And they... word salad, I'm telling you. The struggle is real. They eventually went to go kill Jesse. And then realized, okay, wait, he is way more powerful than any of us. And basically Jesse leaves, and due to his powers, there's no way they can find him unless he wants them to. Jesse has not caused any problems since then. At all. You know, they literally just went after him because he was the supposed Antichrist. You know, but, you know, Jesse actually was a fairly good kid. They can't, one, justify further victimizing a rape victim. You know, Kelly doesn't deserve that. You know, by forcing her, she chooses to have her rapist baby, that's up to her. Yeah, like, seriously. That is so up to her. They do not get to make that call. 2, they can't kill an innocent child. That'd be like them, you know, the angels, you know, had they decided to stop the apocalypse or whatever, killing Sam and Dean before they could have been born. You know, you don't get to make that call because of a potential unknown threat they might possibly, potentially cause. You know, you don't get to punish somebody for crimes they have not committed, that they might commit, theoretically, in the future. You know, and I really, 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 really want Team Free Will to adopt the baby. And basically raise it. While they're doing the school and stuff as well. And basically, like, all this, you know, takes a village to raise a child as far as raising this, you know, this Nephilim baby. I just think that would be really freaking awesome. And you've got, like, you know, not only have you got Team Free Will, but you've got Jody, you've got Donna, you've got Claire, you've got Alex, you've got Crowley and Rowena, who also, I would love if they basically offered her a teaching position at the Men of Letters. And the fact that, like, yes, you'll teach a class, like, once a day from this time period to this time period to the students, but then all the other time, you basically can have to yourself to study. Or either we've got labs you can use for alchemy or witchcraft or whatever. And you can continue practicing as you see fit, but you'd also be passing on this, you know, ancient art that is so very important to you and is actually so vital, you know, to what we do. You know, I think that would be really important to her, and I think that'd be a really big deal. So, yeah, that's sort of my headcanon as far as how the show needs to end, is Men of Letters needs to be turned into a school. You know, Rowena 1 needs to be offered a teaching position to pass on her arts. It may not be her mega coven, but she would at least have actual students. And it'd be the first time, like, in the history of America, that a witch hasn't had to be in hiding. And I think it'd be really, really, really cool. Anonymous said, I think Cass couldn't track down a vampire because he was severely depressed and worrying about Sam and Dean. Any other day he could have done it easily, but his heart just wasn't in it in the current situation. I think it's the writers forgetting Cass is an angel and how his powers work. The fact that he can smell a dude had a bladder infection post-mortem. You know, so 2, Cass has never been trained properly, and the Winter Sisters unfortunately have never encouraged him to be a hunter. You know, it's just, there's a lot to Cass's storyline. You know, in which case they could build off of this potential, apparently, plot hole is the fact that he couldn't just sense, you know, where the evil was, or anything like that, and track it down that way because he's an angel. Is that maybe somehow Cass is somehow permanently falling? And then they explain it, you know, over the next few episodes, that basically stuff they think Cass should be able to do, Cass can't do. And Cass has been so absorbed and tied up and preoccupied with all this other stuff, he hasn't noticed it either. That, like, you know, Dean and Sam are just like, dude, are you sick? You know, what is going on? And, you know, and they can't figure it out, and then, you know, they slowly realize Cass is becoming human again. In which case, not even, like, as a punishment or anything like that, but, you know, because Cass genuinely, though he hasn't actually maybe voiced it aloud, has decided whether or not he wants to be an angel or wants to be a human. And because he made that decision even subconsciously, That's what started to happen. I knew Cass was trouble when he walked in, said, okay, but Cass being the first and second and third person Dean calls when they're free, Dean riding in the back with Cass, looking at him one more time and not being able to look him in the eyes as Cass turns to look back, and Cass's face, the dread, because not again. And Cass's speech, and I'm just so keyboard smashing. My babies deserve happiness. Besides that, are you kidding me with Billy? Yeah. But yeah, so I think we're pretty much done as far as the questions. So this episode was obviously better than last week's or the last episode because that bar was set so freaking low they had to dig a hole for it. But you know, and unfortunately this season has just been very uneven and unreliable as far as pacing and storytelling and quality of the episodes. Some of it has to do with we got some new writers. Only one of which had a bad episode. The other ones had really good episodes. The other bad episodes are the results of, you know, regular writers, that they're just crap writers. Buck Lemming. And so, you know, it's looking forward to the rest of the season as always. Looking forward to season 13 as always. Meanwhile, as canon seems to have failed us, please apply fanfic. Also, I would remind you, and I'm very excited about this, is that we are having a giveaway over on my blog. And so if you will check out my blog, I'm currently having a giveaway. I'm not going to show you what it is on here, but you can definitely check it out on there. Just search surprise on the left side in the search option, and it'll show you what the current giveaway is. I'm planning on doing another giveaway after that, so if you'll check that out as well. And then I will see y'all back next week for that episode with the, oh God, what's it called? Hi, sweetie.
Hi.
Camera.
I see that. Good to go.
Thank you, I appreciate it. With the, the Lily character, I forget what the episode is called, but Lily Sunders something or other. But if you watched the preview and then you saw the promo pictures that they released, it's confirmed we have canon female vessel Castiel in next episode, which I'm super excited about, and I really hope that angels basically keep a record of themselves and as their appearance and humanity throughout the different time periods and stuff like that. Like during the Renaissance period, they had artists and stuff who painted them on cathedrals. Well, as time periods and styles and stuff changed, I'm hoping they keep a record of that themselves, so that we have Victorian era Angel Squad portraits, a photograph that they took now that the technology was available, and then of course over the years as they would, you know, show up and stuff like that, they would keep pictures of that, because I really want Team Free Will to be able to see the picture of Victorian era Angel Squad, and for Dean basically to be like, that one's Castiel. Because literally nobody else could have, you know, that unimpressed face and those judgmental eyebrows and not be Castiel. That one is Cass. Because I think a lot of people basically recognized which one was Cass on sight, which I think is really cool. Unfortunately, Katie McGrath does not play Castiel, but, you know, the girl who does play him apparently is going to do an awesome job from what we can tell so far, so I'm excited. I really want Victorian Angel, Angel Squad Victorian era photograph portrait. This is the thing I need. But I'll see y'all back next weekend. Or next week. We'll be check out my blog because I'm doing the giveaway. I'm gonna probably do another giveaway of the same item that I'm currently giving away now, plus I've got a Gadriel pillow and then some of the supernatural themed tea that if you haven't checked out on Adagio that I'm also giving away, and just do a big giveaway of that, so it'll be really fun. Looking forward to next week. Check out some fanfic. The one with the fanfic competition is what I'm currently doing. That's an alternate season 12 that is much happier than the current events and deals with basically characters addressing their issues and getting help for them or dealing with them and supporting each other through them. So that's a lot of fun. So I'll see y'all back. Have a good week. Bye!